morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Sorry I'm a moment late. Fell asleep at the wheel. Happens. I was playing Path of Exile, full disclosure. I was patting myself on the back for waking up this morning and making a timely post telling people to go vote. I'm just kidding. I just I literally was putting a ring on a character and I went, was I supposed to be doing something? Looked down, it's 8:01 and I was like, fuck! So, sorry everybody. Want to gab, Kara, Debs, Stacy? I think this is a mistake. I think we talked about this before, but we talk about the concern about for-profit prison in the United States. Um, it costs something like $43,000 a day. It's the worst people in the world are invested in for-profit prisons. And when you take away your right to a fair trial, a jury trial, it just means people are eating sentences, eating time in fucking prison and jail, and are otherwise being overpunished. It is a cruel um, use of power to strip people of the right to a jury trial if the penalty is less than 3 years. So, nice little BBC article for you off rip. Hope you all had magnificent Monday. I went to fucking bed. I don't believe this. He should have thought about what he was wearing. So, this feels like a fabrication. I'm just a full disclosure sort of person. Elon Ohel, freed after 738 days in Hamas tunnels. Where were you triggered in this headline? Describes sexual abuse when held alone. Pause. What the fuck? Sexual abuse when held alone. Uh, His account follows similar testimonies. And then he came in to shampoo me, put shampoo on his hands, began to wash me in the shower. He touched me. Did not go further. Cool. Israeli authorities have said that multiple released hostages have reported sexual violence in captivity. It's not very common. You don't normally like you don't usually do that to prisoners. Hamas obviously denies this, and it's yeah. Apparently, Donald Trump posted like hundreds of times in social media last night. I'm sure we'll get to it. Bloomberg, honestly, terrible fucking titling of an article. Taiwan charges Tokyo Electron in TSMC secrets theft case. Holy fuck, there's so many buzzwords in this article. What is this even about? Huh, theft of trade secrets involving two Asian linchpins of the chip industry. You know, aren't isn't like Nvidia like all in on the chip industry? Anyway, it's probably nothing, you guys. Probably nothing. I'm sure that checks notes Tokyo Electron Limited and Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, neither of which any of us have ever heard of in our entire lives, are not at all relevant, and that these anyway, I'm not thinking at all about the collapse of the American economy as we know it. But anyway, all right. Jeez. What people clearly have not figured out yet, it's about how you feel after they pay you. Morning. Where's my wife at? She must be at work. Ukrainian security service says a man was also preparing to commit terrorist acts. Easy money, they said. A British man has been detained in Ukraine on suspicion of spying for Russia. When Donald Trump dies, we'll start with that. Cool. I'm not giving him more respect than he deserves. He can get buried in this show for all I give a fuck. Just so you and I are one and one. Like, there's almost a good reason to start globally because it would tilt the fuck out of MAGA and Donald Trump to know that at least the first half of this show is not centered around him. You dig? It's like the whole world. There's a reason I do what I do. Do this shit. Police detain former foreign police policy chief Federica Mogherini in anti-fraud probe. Hey, she's wearing two chains. You can tell she's up to some shit. Agree. Agree 100%. I think what happens globally is highly relevant because we live in a copycat society. So if something fucking unique and crazy happens elsewhere and we like know that that like exists and then it happens in the United States, you're not nearly as fucking shocked to your fucking core, right? And it makes you freak out and radicalize and start killing American service members. Wait, did that happen? Yeah, that really happened. You keep making more people and more stuff, and when you keep making more people and more stuff, you're gonna sell more stuff. Does anybody have any questions? Talking about the planet. The fuck? Hope you, like I said, hope you had a nice night. I checked out early, so I did not Russia is building Su-35 fighter jets for Iran. Huh. Trump bombing those silos in Iran just became suddenly relevant. Hmm. I'm going to read the title again. Russia is building Su 35 fighter jets for Iran. Documents obtained. Leaked. They never made a Captain Planet movie. Okay, so some things are happening that are unprecedented. We've never seen this shit before. But this is KKK Caroline diming out the, the Navy admiral who followed the order. For the record, it came from the White House. It means Donald Trump told him to kill them all. Pete Hegseth. Those order shit rolls downhill. Those are the rules. Good to go. The guy pulling the trigger just hears pull the trigger. Do you understand? Even the fucking sniper has to ask permission. I know that I'm largely speaking to an audience that has no concept of what I'm talking about, but if you think this thing moves because I want it to, that's a negative. Ghost Rider, the pattern's full. You don't get to make that decision. Taxpayers do. In most situations, you aren't allowed to return fire unless you are shot at first. So the guy doing the shooty shooty bang bang on the end, he's just getting told to let it rip, bitch. That's all that dude knows how to do is fucking kill. Yep, that's just is real. But the people all the way up his fucking chain of command, all the way into the Oval Office, are accountable for everybody. And I told y'all this a long goddamn time ago. And keep in mind, we're closing in on a year, so I'm gonna browbeat the shit out of that. Okay. Um, I've been saying if one person dies in your country, it's a and you're the president, it's a national story. If one American dies internationally, it's international news. The man lives and breathes being front page of the news. So if you think he gives a fuck about a body, you know, so they will absolutely have KKK Caroline get up there and say it was this admiral's fault. He's the one that gave the order. Who told him to do it? SecDef authorized the strike. It came. Trust me, there is not a Navy admiral that wakes up in the morning and is like, "What random fishing boat am I going to fucking destroy today with with heavy firepower?" I don't like they keep blowing up boats in the water because I feel like that sucks for the environment. I don't know how else to stop it. Watched a video of Keg's Breath on Fox saying he was watching it live as it was going down in Venezuela, so proof he was in charge and calling the shots. Yeah, perfect. 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 That's how you know he ain't no Joe. Good to go. He's the kind of person to have such bravado to be watching it happen live and calling the shots. No, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. This is fucking fantastic. All these people are like crashing and burning, Deb. I mean, it's sad to see. So yeah, yeah. Climate change. Anyone? Asia is reeling from cyclones and monsoon rains. I said cyclone. Yeah, he has a big mouth and gloats about it. Yeah. Not the kind of person you want in charge. Hey, let me say it like this. Full stop. Pete Hegseth is nothing like anyone I ever served with. Neither's JD Vance. Nor whatever the dude from Texas too. They're unlike the people I served with in many ways. Far less like outwardly arrogant. Remember, justice for all. But mostly, I just want people to not die en masse. That's my like big thing. Cyclone. That's funny. All right. You know what I can never figure out, and I knew it was going to happen like eventually. They'd have like the head of Ukraine, the head of the United States, and the head of Russia in the same room. And you're telling me that's not getting attacked? What? There's no violence? Is this all a show? Poor people die so these rich heads of state can fucking hang out like homies? And I know it's the US envoy, not President Trump, but speaking of Trump, I haven't seen him golf lately or walk upstairs. Matter of fact, I haven't really seen him climb stairs since he bitched about an escalator going out of service. There, a little morsel. Russia's top general is fabricating his success on their front. So, how bad is it in Russia? Well, the military the country that they invaded, golfing triggers me. Yeah. You know what will you will have at some point you'll appreciate me. I fucking hate golf. So, golf or nap is generally I'd rather just take a nap. What the fuck are we talking about? I would ban golf. Anyway, so Russia's generals are fabricating their success. Okay, so now you're starting to understand the kind of people that Vladimir Putin surrounds himself with. I bet you this guy, Valery Gerasimov, he's RBC News Ukraine. Jeez. So we just talked about these floods. 700, at least 700 people have died in Indonesia. A million people have been evacuated. 3.2 million people on Sumatra Island have been affected. 2,600 have been injured. 504 are missing. What makes you think I don't appreciate you? No, I was saying like one of the things you'll come to appreciate. I, mean, I should have said it differently, Soren. One of the things you will come to appreciate is I fucking hate golf. So golf is an exercise in futility. And if there's any single lesson that you don't need to fucking teach me is futility. So I find it interesting how countries are approaching cybersecurity, and it tells me they have no clue what they're fucking talking about. You always make the person uploading the content responsible for telling you whether their content that they're putting on the internet is made for children or not. And then you hold them accountable. The good news is that all of the content that I post on the internet, I select this is not appropriate for kids. Why? Primarily because I curse. That's it. That's it. It's not because any other reason. My content is not made for young kids. And so when kids are looking, they're not going to find my content. I think that's how it should work. Why the fuck are whole countries banning social media for kids under 16? Right? Apple is refusing to load. Did it go? Yeah, there it goes. There's the article. Apple is refusing to load a cyber safety app onto India's order of iPhones. I know that it feels like menial. Like this is what the fuck does this even mean? Like there's more important shit going on in the world. Money's the fucking mover. This shit moves everything. India's order of iPhones. We're talking about a whole ass country trying to force a company to preload a cybersecurity app. Here's the thing, Mike. St. Nicholas is real, and you are allowed. I'm allowing you to pray to him for what is that? Article 2, Section 4 for Christmas. Old Saint Nick is a real person. He was just a generous old man. hmm Like when my beard grays out. Anyway, happy birthday to everybody that had birthdays. Yeah, Happy Gilmore is great. Golf is not. I'm a basketball, football. I mean, shit. I'll watch wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I used to like mixed martial arts. I felt like we went through the submission era, and now we're in a knockout or bust era. And it's not. It's more boxing. I'm not a boxing fan because I've actually been in a fight in my life, and wrist control is amazing in a fist fight. If you could just like two arms on one wrist, you can just throw people around like a rag doll. It's hilarious. Anyway, Pakistan is under fire for sending expired flood relief to Sri Lanka. International relations. Yeah. God, I love my browser. So in Opera, so here's a test for you. See if you can untangle that article. Okay. Greece came out with their multi year budget, which will extend beyond minimum wage increase. Anyway, just important seeing how other countries handle their budget comparatively, right? God, that's just doesn't sound right to me, kids. Fears of spying and interrogation as mega Chinese embassy in London looks set for approval. No, we start with world news every day. I'm not giving Donald Trump headlining anything. I think I think he's a powerless, weak, dying old man, and I'm going to treat him as one. I'm putting him on the back burner. We don't talk about U.S. news and politics until the last half of the show. Fuck you, Don. China is building an embassy in London. People are protesting. Marco Rubio ducked NATO's gathering of foreign ministers to go meet with his buddy, German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul. Yeah, right? Like, that's the most Marco Rubio shit ever. Landslide in Peru. I'm gonna cough. Sorry about that. 12 dead, dozens missing as a landslide submerges boats in a Peru port. 50 passengers on one. Jesus. Do we know how the blackout is going? So, what I saw, the the increase the increase in price of goods was like four times that of the increase in the purchase of goods. Do you understand? So it's like everything cost more, and so yeah, people spent more money, but if the cost of goods goes up by 11% over the course of a year and the increase in expense is 3%. Did did we spend? No, not at all. Here's how you know. There are better metrics to determine whether your Black Friday was like good or not. And people are going to be like, "Oh my God, how do you know all that?" I used to manage retail. It's items per transaction. Hear me out. Items per transaction's way down. So people weren't able to buy the cell phone with the charger and the case and the headphones like they used to be able to do that shit. They could just get the cell phone to explain it flatly. hmm Now, I saw plenty of video of stores that were empty, and I want to remind you who benefits from that video. Probably the store manager of that store that has their store all clean. You know what I'm saying? That's what those videos probably are. I would just be wary about getting too excited based off that. What I try to do is find the math that is most significant and average price, average cost of an item, like any item, the increase in expense, the number of items per transaction. These are reasonable, measurable pieces of data that completely drive your decision making. How do you feel about the blackout? Fucking excellent. Questions? I don't have any. He said I might have to siphon the generator in order to get to Oshkosh protests today. Yeah, I saw the videos too, and again, that's supposed to drive people in. So Russia is instituting a draft. So there again, Russia is going all in on total world war. Okay. So in case you had any questions, Russian authorities have begun issuing military draft summonses to arriving citizens. Hey, handing draft notices to people, to Russians coming home. I want to make sure we point it out. This is important to me as like a journalist. Okay. Putin says Russia has taken control of two Ukrainian cities. And Ukraine straight up is denying that. This is what I worry about with people putting like cameras in their house and shit. Now, my wife recently put up outdoor cameras because we have deer and rabbits in our yard and shit. Like, who wouldn't want to see videos of that and the sunrise and shit? Anyway, but over 120,000 home cameras hacked in South Korea for sexploitation footage. 120,000 is a big number, kids. Bulgaria. Holy shit. Thousands in Bulgaria uh, rally against 2026 budget and clash with the police. This feels a little Smells like future America right here, kids. There's a reason that we talk about this shit first. Morning. A while ago, I put a camera in the house, and my son told me he heard someone speak. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Canada reaches deal to join EU military procurement fund. Hey, 27 member economic bloc ramps up defense spending. Declined to reveal the entrance fee it will pay for its membership in the Security Action for Europe program. Yeah, definitely don't use Alexa. Want an agent. Right. Maduro says Venezuela is ready to defend itself as U.S. considers potential land attack. This is boring as fuck. The build up to this war in Venezuela. People following Trump's shoes. Remember how Donald Trump doubted the validity of that Iowa pollster? And it was like a big deal. They're cracking down on pollsters in Colombia, and it's clouding their presidential race. I think this might be significant. The IDF killed the son of of a Hamas terrorist, Abdullah Hamad, was killed in Rafah. His family confirmed it, and he becomes a martyr. Last week, Israel submitted a proposal to Hamas via intermediaries which would have allowed terrorists in tunnels to surrender and be arrested rather than be killed. Hey, some good news here on a Tuesday. Congo declares its latest Ebola outbreak over. More. 5 more minutes, and then we'll talk about Donald Trump. I like this Pope. So, Pope Leo tells students don't ask AI to do your homework at a virtual appearance at a youth conference. Oh wow. So there's been a big corruption scandal in the Philippines, and they're protesting. Scary shit for sure. Hell yeah. Wow. So the flooding in Indonesia, Thailand, and Sri Lanka has killed more than 1,160 people. So we kind of talked about that at the top of the show. Monsoons and typhoons, including what do we say, a super typhoon? Scale of disaster. Hold on to your asses. Right. So keep this in mind. They're they're protest. They just had this nasty fucking monsoon and typhoons, flooding. People are dead. They're protesting corruption. Hey, the Philippines is doing great, baby. They're buying fighter jets. Does this not sound like the United States? They're protesting corruption in the Philippines. Southeast Asia has just had these monsoons and typhoons, and flooding has killed 1,000 plus people. We just talked about 1,160 people, right? How's the Philippines government doing? Fucking swell, right? They're buying fucking fighter jets from South Korea. Hell yeah, that Hitachi shit, right? No, it's not good. Oh, stop me if you've heard this one before. Canadian air passenger traffic to the United States is down for the ninth consecutive month. All right, let's share the show. Talk about U.S. news and politics. I'm thinking about all the displaced people, all the sad people. Gosh, all the sad kids. I'm a sad kid. Morning of a terrific Tuesday. That's not how you spell Tuesday. Justices. Sharing the show. Justices Waiting Room. A daily podcast discussing news and politics. Is live on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch. And as always, free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. And it's awful. Yep. Full disclosure. Awful. Oh, Facebook and Twitter are awful. Like just using those sites, it's unfun. Democrats in New Jersey rammed through bill to defang a corruption watchdog. A state Senate committee moved to weaken an office that investigates police misconduct and government waste. Senator Andy Kim spoke in opposition, was cut off after 3 minutes. This is why I'm not a fucking Democrat. Do you like? This is not even. That's not even Democrat. That's not what Democrats even do. Remember, what do we talk about? The basic definitions of what is a Republican, what is a conservative, what is a liberal, what is a Democrat, right? And and we talk about a lot about the core of what is a conservative. Okay, and before we talk about the modern conservative person, historically conservatives have moved to maintain institutions, maintain consistent levels of funding. So understand that it is a conservative position that we should keep Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP fully funded. Do you understand? You, I, we. Okay. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay. That the conservative position to maintain an institution, to the left of that would be the Democrat position, which would be to increase funding, expand programs, build more, right? Republican conservatives want less government, Democrats want more. So, in effort to expand a program, what program are you expanding by weakening a police watchdog? A police state. Thank you. Yes, yes. The Democrats, okay, yeah, the Democrats are in bed with the police. Democrats and Republicans are in bed with the police. ProPublica reporting Oregon struggles to land federal counterterrorism money as Trump orders troops to stop terrorists hindering ICE. A quiet battle is played out in court over money that sanctuary states say is needed to fight true extremist threats from both ends of the political spectrum. And this is because your elected officials live in fear. Because their decisions, their inaction, their buddying with the worst among us, uh, remember, there's no continuation of ACA subsidies. So hopefully you've already registered for healthcare. Again, as someone that is a disabled veteran and I don't actually have to do that, the lowest healthcare that I can buy is $160 a month, which is 8% of my take home pay. And that's before you use it. I could have spent as much as 21% of my take home pay on insurance that I will probably die before I use. In Texas, they've got a bathroom bill that's about to go into effect. They're getting it while they can get it, and the thing about it is the U.S. justice system will prevail. Obviously, I want to make sure that we say it correctly. Okay? It's one thing to have committed a war crime. Say it. I want to hear you say it. And I don't obviously want to hear you say it. It's one thing to have committed a war crime. It's a whole nother thing to just admit it on camera. It's a it's a whole other thing when you are like, yeah, I did that shit. We tracking? I just want to make sure everybody good. Okay. When you admit to it on camera, Jesus Christ, man. Trump pardons a nursing home scoundrel who cheated and neglected Arkansans. Joseph Schwartz operated a multi-state nursing home chain called Skyline. Controlled 100 nursing homes in 11 states. Sentenced to 36 months in prison and $38 million in employment tax fraud. Willfully failed to pay employment taxes he owed. Thank God Texas is tackling the major stuff, like what bathrooms transgender people can use and shit. We live in a society full of weak men whose their thought is not to grow a garden or make art or music. Their only thought is violence. I can go out in a blaze of glory and kill one of these, insert slur here. And after I never really felt like, haha, we're in danger. But I did watch what was it, the shooting in Stockton, California, where a dude's just like walking along with, I mean, he was with a whole group of people, and he just like pulled out a pistol and shot into a business. This is the one where he killed kids and shit. And I just think about like that could happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Trump promised a San Francisco crime crackdown. His administration did the opposite. I knew we were in the fucking upside down. Look, I love all these articles that are like, Republicans are growing a fucking spine. Yeah, yeah. Republicans are showing signs of picking their battles against Trump. Can you even do that? Hey, can I have some real questions. I have some real questions to ask as someone that's never lost their goddamn mind on the internet before. Can you even post once a minute? Is that a thing? Do you have to have like special permissions to post that frequently? I'm asking, does Donald Trump have special permissions on his own website to be able to post just ad nauseum? Cuz I try to think about the data involved in just allowing people to be like word vomit. So, I know that I I've never lost my shit. Sorry, y'all. I never got worked up. That worked up. Perhaps I should have been angrier. Yeah, yes. Speaking of the correct use of insane, Donald Trump's insane 400 fucking post night. What was he on? Blow? No. Had to be drug and my fingers would be numb. Yes. Yeah, remember when he was banned from all social media? Yes. Oh, and by the way, you know how I've been telling you to mock Donald Trump mercilessly, um, and that it has an impact on him? Even smarter people than me with bigger platforms than I have are saying the same thing, so it ended up being good information. This man will die over a meme. Not not a jury. Again, remember we called it justice's waiting room for fucking reason, right? I expect most of Donald Trump's punishment will be posthumous. And everything they've ever done has failed. Gavin Newsom has no policy, but he is trolling the shit out of Donald Trump and it might kill him, and I am here for that. Okay? Money. Yeah. Okay. Here's an article explaining Donald Trump's contradictions. U.S. Admiral to brief lawmakers. Uh oh. I knew this was going to be a good week. Questions mount over U.S. attack in Caribbean Sea that killed survivors on boat allegedly carrying drugs. I hate this shit. issued a verbal order to strike the vessel. Okay. U.S. Admiral to, he's going to meet with Trump denies the kill everybody order. So again, it appears like Donald Trump gave the order to kill everyone and Pete Hegseth passed that order and that's how that happened. The entire chain of command is going to be held liable. Remember what I told you? The guy pulling the trigger is just really goddamn good at pulling the trigger. Do you understand words as they come out of my mouth? That person probably going to get an award. Everyone behind them is in deep shit. Because all the guy with a gun knows how to do is shoot the gun. And you tell him to. With them. Or her. That's how I feel about it. Don't send your sons and daughters to fight your father's and mother's wars. And then you won't have people like me, as someone that was a grunt, have me doing your fucking dirty work. I think the guy pulling the fucking trigger doing the fucking dirty work is clean. He knows what the fuck they're doing. They're an operator. That's what the fuck they do, right? You just move different. Hmm. I don't have any fucking questions. Who's accountable for that person? A whole line of people all the way up to the president. If he issues a fucking illegal order and that chode, the dude on the front end, follows it, they're not getting in trouble. That person, not getting in trouble. It's all the people behind them. Hmm? They might get like a slap on the wrist. You remember the media reported that Doge is dead, right? One of my favorite stories about being on active duty. I was a 0351 at a range shooting the small. Okay, shoulder mounted assault weapon. It shoots a rocket. You stick in the back of it, and then you got to clear the backblast area because it is a rocket. You should put it on your shoulder and shoot it. Think like RPG or AT4 type shit, but it's reloadable and reusable, which makes it super fucking useful. Um, but we shot a small at a concrete bunker. Okay, and so the type of round that we used is a penetration round. Okay, so what it does is it is gonna go through concrete. To be honest, I was trying to hit the porthole. Let's just be honest about some shit. And then it travels a certain depth before it explodes. Really useful in caves. Anyway, so I shoot the rocket. Great shot, Jared. Goes in the bunker, explodes. You can see dust coming out of all the holes. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's shrapnel. A bunch of people died, right? And the like staff sergeant or sergeant right there standing there watching me shoot that shit literally turned around and threw up, had a fucking flashback, and suddenly was having a fucking panic attack because he had done that in Iraq. He had fired a small into a concrete bunker, saw the explosion, And then when they went in and checked it out, there's just a bunch of dead bodies. Yeah, he killed like 25 people with one shot. You never really think about you now have to go ID all of those people. Make sure there aren't any survivors. Do you think that guy like isn't getting promoted and like is getting kicked out of the military and shit? You think he did that on his own volition? He did what he was trained to do. Can't make me feel bad for that. Can you imagine like having to go through that bunker and like tag everybody? Take pictures and shit, take their wallet out, take pictures of that shit after you the one that did it too. I'd be throwing up all over those motherfuckers. I'd be passing out, standing up, get to the next side, pass the fuck out, get brought back to life, fucking pass the fuck out. Like I'd just be commander in chief. Yeah, I want a commander in chief that blows trees. You know what I mean? Says stop being dicks to each other. For fuck's sake. Violence is goddamn boring. No fucking shit. Guardian reporting the White House's new media bias tracker is a fucking gimmick. No shit. You don't say. Washington Post and CNN reporting over Thanksgiving weekend that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, I thought he was the Secretary of War. Which is it? I wish he would. Do you think Zoran Mamdani ever has a sore throat because they're chronic weed smokers? By the way, if you live in Tennessee, 7th Congressional District, go vote for Afton Bain, which is, by the way, dope fucking name. DSA. In a district that went for Trump by 22 points, she's within 2 points on election day. Oh, this shit's over. 2% is nothing. I thought he was the Secretary of War. What the fuck? Yeah. So here, can I have a dumb question? Comedy but ASMR. Is that not a thing? Where somebody tells jokes but it's ASMR? Does anybody do that shit? Like, I guess it's kind of opposite energy, right? You want people to be like loud and laughing at you and talking all calmly. Back to the defense. He's in hot whiskey. You know, I don't pat myself on the back often enough, but calling Pete Hegseth major drinking problem, that's A plus game. You know what I'm saying? Secretary of Whiskey. Can I be the secretary? Nope. Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, baby. Turns out fighting fascism helps you live longer. Retirees are mobilizing to defend democracy, and the benefits are showing up in their DNA. Ooh. I also probably need to do ASMR comedy because my fucking voice, because I blow trees, my fucking voice is shot, especially if it's like good stuff. I just want a political candidate that says this is a nation of immigrants. This country was built by immigrants. If you're a white person, you're an immigrant or the son or daughter of an immigrant. If you're black, you're probably also an immigrant. In fact, it only makes sense if you're Mexican, because Mexico, a large portion of the United States used to be Mexico, or an American Indian. Then it makes sense if you're like anti immigrant. But that's the thing. Have you ever met an anti immigrant Indian that's like, get off our land? No! They killed those people. ASMR comedy with your feet out. Now we're just getting we're we're crossing thresholds here, Bob. I was thinking maybe I'll play video games and do ASMR comedy. I don't know what the fuck Bob's talking about. How about this? I would do a feet shot if it was like a shoe cam because I'm a grown ass man and I wear shoes because that reminds me, I want big, fluffy Jordan house shoes that are like blown up versions of Jordans. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't cost you like $150 a pair because they just look cartoony. I would love that. That would be great. Hey, does anybody want to make a zillion fucking dollars? Hey, the best shoe designs on earth are Jordan brand. And I want to point out Jordan is distinctly not Nike. Anyone. If anybody wants to make a zillion fucking dollars. Two Indians at my work were speaking ill of Latino immigrants. Kinda weird, huh? Guess punching down is just easier. I wouldn't call that punching down. Um, at least being anti-immigrant if you're an American Indian or if you're Mexican makes sense. And you know, Mexicans should really not trust Americans because the America fucking stabbed them in the fucking back and took their fucking land. So, you gotta watch them. But yeah, it ain't no punching down, bro. Um, because I would do like a shoe game cam. Radar revelation stokes fears. Caribbean could be drawn into the U.S. Violation. Trinidad and Tobago has proved the installation of a U.S. military radar installation. Interesting. Hmm. Interesting. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar had attempted to allay concerns about a U.S. C-17 aircraft which had landed in the country, claiming it was carrying Marines to assist with a road construction project. She also claimed she was told no Marines remain in the country, but images and videos later emerged of U.S. Marines at a Tobago hotel and of a radar installation on the island. That ugly twat is called the Ice Barbie. How you gonna put a 2.5 as the poster face? She has massive pores. Her makeup's uneven. Her eyebrows are drawn on. That means she doesn't even have eyebrows. Only sketchy bitches don't have eyebrows. MAGA conspiracy theorist and Trump influencer Laura Loomer receives credentials in a desk at the Pentagon. Yeah, if you want to get a handle on racism over the years, I recommend the Mafia series. Video games. It's probably on sale right now for real cheap. But what's important about the Mafia series is that it exemplifies like the sentiment towards Italian Americans, the sentiment towards black men, the sentiment towards mixed men, right? Uh, the sentiment towards white men who were sympathetic towards the plight of the black man or his. I've always been friends with everybody. That's, you know, I never saw a face I didn't like. Now I'm a little older. Should have been a little more. Should have been a little more. Get the fuck out of my face, bitch. You know what I mean? Jigsaw. I literally. I had to look at fucking Christy Nome and Laura Loomer in back to back, and it broke my brain. Where I was like, I can't even remember what this bitch's nickname is. That's Gotta give it to the drugs, man. FEMA now says workers were wrongly reinstated. God damn it. Axios reporting. Can you imagine going back to work and they're like, yeah. Oh, by the way, if you wondered how major drinking problem, aka Pete Hegseth, feels, he posted Franklin targets narco terrorists on social media. That's how he feels about ordering the kill them all, right? And the Franklin author's name's Paulette Bourgeois. Oh, check this out. People say, like, oh, unions, unions. How about Starbucks to pay $35 million to New York City workers in a settlement as ongoing strike draws polls to the picket line? Hmm. The workers want better hours and increased staffing. They're angry that Starbucks hasn't agreed on a contract 4 years after workers voted to unionize. Union votes at other locations followed, and about 550 of Starbucks' 10,000 company owned stores are now unionized. Coffee Giant also has around 7,000 licensed locations at airports, grocery stores, and other locales. Every every Starbucks should be unionized. I think this is one of hey, think about this. This is where I am. Okay. I had like given up wanting to be like a business owner because of the economy. I could build a Starbucks killer. Think about it. Guarantee the living wage, the hours, the ability to unionize, compete in terms of variety of coffee. You'll be bigger than them, faster than them. People are dying to get away from Starbucks. Anyway, so think about that. They have 17,000 locations. Right now, 550 of them they just lost 35 mil. They haven't agreed on a contract in 4 years. Is that the kind of press you want? What if a company just like let its people unionize and people wanted to buy their shit because they're like, "Hey, they're pro union." Anyway, just spitballing. Federal Review finds that 44% of U.S. trucking schools don't comply with government rules. Luigi Mangionis fights to exclude evidence from his trial in the killing of United Healthcare's CEO. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Well, that'll level the playing field. Can't have that. That's what a socialist wants you to do. I want you to seize the means of production by destroying these shit ass corporations by just building better versions. Hmm. It's okay to aspire to wealth. There's no need to aspire to be a billionaire. And in effort to combat that, you just pay your people fairly. You'll never be rich. Like if you pay people correctly, you'll never get wealthy. You'll do all right though. You own hundreds of those. You treat everybody well. Make $1 billion. Uh, They want you to, it's just the Democrats, witch hunting, and it's not. Yeah. Is there a black person here? Yeah. Someone just say it's just a New York law could set the big stage for AI regulation's next big battleground. AI is a ripoff. AI is a scam. It's like think about what it means to not have fallen for all the MLMs, the pyramid schemes, the fucking I was gonna say something that could lose me friends. I'm trying to remember if any of those people still come around. But yeah, any of the tarot card readers, just wish you'd put your energy in something more functional. Just got sucked into Amway. USA Gymnastics and Olympic Sports Watchdog failed to stop coach's sexual abuse. Lawsuits allege. You guys saw Alina Habba got disqualified as a New Jersey prosecutor. Yo, keep this in mind. Donald Trump is appointing people who can't even keep their job and fires people who can't lose their jobs. A whistleblower alleges Special Forces chief tried to cover up concerns about SAS conduct in Afghanistan, an inquiry told. Whistleblower says chain of command failed to stop extrajudicial shootings, including of children, after alarm was raised. As I've said many a time in my life, I don't care about your title or time and grade. I've had shit leaders that were old men, shit leaders that were young men. It don't fucking matter. Wait, hold on. That's not my dogs. I gotta make sure it's not my dogs. That's too loud. I was just checking on you. I was just checking. I was just checking. I was just checking. No, it's too cold and snowy and shit. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, we grind our own coffee beans. We just brew. Does the trick. Anyway, check the weather and a little bit eat the rich. Hey, I went to check in the dogs. Coffee's Making your own coffee is a cheat code. Unlimited refills. The coffee's super cheap. It's always hot. It always tastes exactly how you like it. Cleveland got hammered with snow. It started snowing last night. It was wild. All right, here we go. Y'all bought It's got cameras up. Yeah, be safe out there. It took my wife like an hour and a half to get home last night. I was trying to tell her to take off work today. Winter storm warning: Massachusetts, New York, and Vermont. Okay. Wow, here you go. All right. Jeez. Look at the East Coast, y'all. I mean, crazy, right? Crazy. Okay. So, hey, the West Coast is clear. There's a little bit of moisture in Eastern California, but then Utah, Colorado, Montana, Idaho, South Dakota, snow and ice. Up in northern Minnesota, into northern Michigan. And then basically, I'm going to sneeze. So, bless me. There is going to be snow from Indiana all the way up to Canada, all the way up the East Coast, like Nova Scotia, Halifax. Okay. Now, it looks like it is mixed snow and rain from the northern edge of Virginia and Delaware. Now, uh, Pennsylvania and New York and up, up in there, snow for sure. But south of Pennsylvania is looking like it's going to get rain and thunderstorms. So it looks like South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, rain and thunderstorms. Hey, this could mean flooding. This can mean freezing. I know we got people on the East Coast, um, like in Jersey and shit. I would be where I'm expecting snow. Um, but anywhere along the edges where you see like snow and rain up against each other, I'm worried about like freezing rain. Um, Over a decade ago, we had a really bad storm, 9 inches of fucking ice. That's how I wound up with my first dog, Tolly, who we had to put down last year. Um, I miss Tolly. She's a good dog. But yeah, keep your head on a swivel. No surprises. Lots of snow and lots of rain and thunderstorms today on the East Coast. Be careful, y'all. Uh, have a good day.